Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome for a second time a very accomplished and respected thought leader from the UK, Mr. Oleg Konovalov. Oleg, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's actually the privilege is mine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. Oleg, of course, is a global thought leader, a consultant, and a C-suite coach, as well as a Da Vinci visionary leadership coach. He's an author of 2 books. You can see both the books behind him. Today, we're going to speak to him about his book, The Fisherman's Path to Leadership, 224 Lessons from the Wisdom of Nature. He's been rated amongst the top 10 most inspiring global thought leaders. And his other book is The Vision Code, Leaderology, Corporate Superpower, Organizational Autonomy, and in Russia. So Oleg, let's come straight to your book, The Fisherman's Path to Leadership, 224 Lessons from the Wisdom of Nature. And before I ask you my first question, I'm going to ask all our viewers and listeners to go and check out Mr. Oleg's book, on Amazon, and I'm sure you'll be inspired by it. So my first question to you, Oleg, is what is the significance of the title, The Fisherman's Path to Leadership?
Ashutosh, leadership is not about how to do. It's about how to be. And therefore, it's always a journey. From me being good today to me being better tomorrow. It's a journey. It's not just a gift. It's a journey which one day you make a firm decision. I want to be a great leader for people. And therefore you start learning, you becoming wiser, you getting to the essence of the things. But what's important for every leader is to gain lessons from experiences. We all have experiences. But how good we are at gaining lessons from them makes a huge difference. By the way, I believe I must highlight this. My congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
It's about 7 chakras. Because again, it's about how we see the things which gets us into the higher level, into the higher level of life, In this life, do we have social lives? You push a button and you're up to the, to a C-suite level. No. It's step by step, step by step, and every step is a lesson.
Very interesting.
And therefore, it's a journey, fisherman's path. Therefore, it's not easy. You're learning all the time. You're falling through the ice. You're getting under the water. You get wet. You get hungry, you get injuries, whatever. You are learning every step to get into that mastery.
Fascinating. And I'd love to, hear of any specific experience from your fishing adventures that deeply influenced your leadership philosophy.
Can I say that it's exact thing? No. If we look back through our lives, what we're about to celebrate, are we celebrating dates or we're celebrating the moments in our experiences? I've been through the tough storm on a small trawler facing Force 11 storm. Where you immediately believe in God in a matter of minutes, because you understand that just like a small tiny thing, and the only thing you could be in command of yourself. You can't command nature, you can't command God. It doesn't happen. So in this sense, you become more powerful if you're not giving up. Can I say exact date? No, I remember the year, of course, but I don't remember. Oh, it was like, it was about November. Oh, no, maybe October, it's not, but it's a moment when we feel an agency over own life or power to be in command of own life. And therefore, there are a lot of such moments. Therefore, the book is called 224 Lessons. You know, I can't make it exactly, you know, just like 10 lessons or 15. I just wrote the book and then I just simply counted the numbers.
Absolutely.
And I just like, wow, that's a lot. But of course, some of them are very significant.
Yeah.
Some of them less significant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. And Oleg, how does the concept of facing storms metaphorically apply to leadership challenges?
Leadership is some kind of a superpower. Because you must be greater than forthcoming challenges because you're leading people into the future. And every challenge, shall we say, is some kind of a storm. And I must be greater than a forthcoming storm. So I must be the storm myself.
Right.
To lead people, to share that confidence. It's not about crushing everything around. It's just about being a force that still, regardless of challenges, leading people into that future.
Well said.
And therefore, you see, we're all facing storms in our life. It's not about being fearless. We're all afraid of certain forthcoming things or things that happen around us. But it's about being experienced and powerful enough to go through them.
Well said. And how do the lessons from nature challenge the conventional wisdom of leadership in today's technology-driven world?
Technology is only a reflection of what we know.
Correct.
We can't create anything smarter than who we are, what we know. But we're always learning from nature because nature is much wiser than we are. It's much more sophisticated, right? Look, for thousands of years, humanity trying to kill nature, but it's still stronger than us.
Absolutely.
You know, pushing buttons on a laptop or trying to get some kind of an answer from a chatbot or whatever. We are only getting a reflection of what we have known so far. But nature always reveals us those things which we don't see on a spot. It makes us think ourselves. And it's always kind. It's very kind coach, you know, which very deep, sophisticated, smooth. And if you are good with this, you would immediately understand it's not about you. It's about environment. It's not about you as a leader. It's about people. It's all about this. Therefore, can you learn this from AI? No.
Great response. My next question, Oleg, is how does the principle of no passengers on board in fishing apply to team dynamics in the corporate world?
Oh, dearie. I believe it's a very important question because I have learned it in a tough way. Can you imagine a passenger on a board of hard-working trawler? No chance. They're all working hard. But if you look at a corporate world, the percentage of passengers is enormous.
Absolutely.
And those passengers, they don't produce much of a value. They more or less what they do, they expect to be entertained. They eat, and at every occasion, if we're about to celebrate a win, they're coming with the largest spoon, you know, to the table.
Right.
You know, and actually, the problem is passengers are not hijacking the trawler or hijacking the corporate world. They're allowed on board only from the captain's permission. Therefore, in corporate world, they're allowed to be on board and do nothing, only consume whatever inner resources from a permission from a top. If we tolerate passengers, they will eat all our resources and they will produce nothing. So we're losing. We're losing. They are putting into jeopardy a performance, a people commitment, engagement, because they do nothing. They want to be entertained.
Well said. Well said. Oleg, your book also talks about the concept of reliable simplicity. How can leaders apply this principle for their own organizations?
Tying knots is a basic of fishing. Then I learned that tying less knots is a mastery of fishing. Well, we're trained to make things complicated. You should write a long essay at university. And you must put a lot of facts in it to make it as complicated as possible. Oh, your math solution is too simple. You must make it even more complicated. We're all taught to be complicated ourselves. If you want for instance, your vision to be greatly executed, it must be very, very simple. So with less knots, because every complication ruins its reliability. It ruins execution. And of course, people don't understand how it works. And therefore, they're simply, we're not engaged, we're not involved, because look, we don't understand how it works. Again, we are good at sharing chaos. We're sharing chaos all the time. Let's be good at sharing simplicity.
Well said. There's another very interesting set of words that and the whole book has got such amazing amount of wisdom. And I've been trying to understand and interpret. And my next question is about the concept of catching nothingness. How does this apply to goal setting and achievements in leadership?
We all have great ideas. I've felt a few times flat on my face, call it casting into empty markets, trying to create something where is no demand. And it's a matter of understanding, is it really a market for it? Is it really a demand for what I offer? And we should meet a response. It's more or less, it's like trying to catch a fish in a swimming pool. No fish, but you're still trying to cast, and you will get sweat. No result. The same as you go into a river where the fish is still not there yet, because it's a migrating fish. And therefore, you casting into nothingness. It's empty space. And therefore, it's often related to startups. And I've been through this experience myself. Oh, it sounds great, but demand is not there yet. Wait long. Observe. We are spending a lot of resources. We're spending a lot of energy on creating solutions to the problems that don't exist. We're trying to meet a demand which does not exist. And therefore, it's about being educated enough or learn about your space, your market, that, hey, people want this. What's the point to offer them something that they don't need?
Well said. Colleague, you also talk about lessons learned from successes and failures. How important is vulnerability for leaders?
It's a journey. Again, it's a journey, because success is great for celebration, but success is a short-term result of a long-term commitment.
Mm.
And okay, I got that result, and again, it's about commitment. But every commitment, it's it's trying, it's up and down, winning, losing. Aha, I'm committed. Then at the end, I will get some kind of a successful outcome. And you must be vulnerable because not many people are prepared to accept, okay, I failed. Some things that I've committed didn't work. Okay, no worries. What I could learn, because it's not a time wasted, it's a time to learn and be better. And therefore, you must be vulnerable to accept your weaknesses. You must be vulnerable to accept where you've been wrong. And that is quite tough. Even I realized one day, I'm not so brave to accept my weaknesses. And as soon as I realized it, I became immediately better.
Great response. Thank you.
Vulnerability would lead you to success.
Well said. Well said. And it needs a very strong leader to show vulnerability, isn't it?
Exactly. To accept. Because if you're not prepared to accept, you wouldn't be good with strategy. You wouldn't be good with people. You will more or less, you will be praising your stupidity all the time.
Well said. My next question is that you have a concept of pause to win. How can you apply this concept to make strategic decisions?
You have tried everything. For instance, casting for Atlantic salmon, which doesn't fit in the river, but it's very smart fish. That means pause, observe, give it a breath. In real life, think how much in general people talk. They talk all the time. They don't have a chance to stop. But when your mouth is open, your brain is shut. Because you, more or less, you're not interacting with your mindset. Your tongue is busy. And therefore, you are talking yourself into trouble. You keep things busy. You're sweating. But we are not rewarded for a sweat that we produce. We are not rewarded for the words that we produce. Pause, breathe out, and think, what kind of a value I could create for people in a different way? Right? How I could use another approach? It demands a bit of clarity, at least, right? But to gain that clarity, you must take a step out and stop. Pushing hard the wall that can't be moved wouldn't make anyone successful. Pause, think, I'm pushing the wrong button, I'm pushing the wrong wall, I'm on the wrong path.
Well said. Well said. The other question that I now have is that how do lessons from fishing align with principles of sustainable development and corporate responsibility?
What we do now is an artifact for the next generations. Nature is not a resource. Nature is a source. And our aim to leave that source as pure as possible. And when we talk about sustainability, it's about sustainability in thinking, sustainability in actions. Sustainability is what we would leave as a legacy to the next generation. Think. Humans pollute nature. Nature doesn't pollute people. And if we talk about sustainability, how good we are at preserving nature in its clarity, in its richness. And therefore, sustainability is about being responsible that next generation will get something even better. More colors, more flowers.
Yeah, well said. So time for two more questions. My next question is, what is the metaphorical significance of the most powerful tackle in leadership?
One thing, mindset.
Okay.
Because mindset, think of our ancestors from thousands of years ago. They didn't have any that fancy technologies, Kevlar, or nano instruments or whatever. But they were able to hunt, to fish, to do whatever agriculture with a minimum of tools. Their main tool or tackle was their mindset. How I can do better, how I could survive in a hostile environment. And they did it with their mindsets. Now, with more tackles we have, we tend to think less. But leadership is very much about mindset. And mindset, it begins from within. How you can't buy it, no chance, right? Therefore, you must develop that mindset from within you, and then you could impact the world. It's not about, I will get mindset from somebody else, listening to somebody else. Don't listen to me. Create your own mindset.
Correct.
Fine, right? Don't copy paste it. It doesn't work. Create your strong mindset, and you will impact the world.
Well said. And my last question for you, what do you want readers to take away from your book?
I have a visionary leadership certification program, right? And for all participants, we have a simple approach. We're here to reveal the greatness of each other. It's not about fishing. It's not about fish. It's about how you could be greater with every lesson that you are facing in your life, in your corporate world, or being at sea, or walking through the woods, or even just like sitting in a park during the lunch break. Look around. Are always lessons, and those lessons are given to us to make us better. That will define your mindset, that will define your greatness, and that will define your ability to grow every day.
What a great response. Thank you. And on that note, Oleg, thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thank you.
I think talking about your book, The Fisherman's Path to Leadership, 224 Lessons from the Wisdom of Nature, has brought back to me a lot of the underlying positives that we seem to ignore about nature. And as you were talking, I was trying to relate back to so many different things that I have encountered with nature, and how you have so beautifully drawn a parallel between different aspects of nature, fishing, and the corporate world and leadership. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.